Hey guys, Plant-Based Gabriel here, and today I'm going to be going over some of my kitchen essentials. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over some of the appliances and tools that I use in my cooking and that I recommend beginners going into a whole food plant-based diet to also look at, not things that you necessarily have to purchase, but things that definitely are a great asset to have in your plant-based and vegan kitchen. So to get started, I'm going to go over a few things that I use on a daily basis that I would highly recommend you get. Now these are two more of the maybe higher priced items on this on the board here, but they're ones that I get my money's worth out of, and I know a lot of people do as well. And the first is the Instant Pot. Now I recommend that if you are going to look for an Instant Pot, that any family under 4 persons get a 6-quart Instant Pot or electric pressure cooker if you're going to get one. I do not recommend anything smaller. I find that people who go ahead and get a smaller Instant Pot after about 3 weeks or a month realize that they'd much rather have a little bit larger of an Instant Pot than rather have gone with a smaller one. So we use this on a daily basis. We use the saute setting. Sometimes if I'm cooking multiple things on the stove top and I need another surface to do some sauteing, I will use that. Or other times I just don't want to mess with the stove and I just go right for the Instant Pot. It is a great tool to have. And the pressure cooking setting. You can cook sweet potatoes and rice and beans. And like I tell everyone, we waited a long time to end up getting the Instant Pot, but once we did, we were able to get rid of our rice cooker, our pressure cooker, our slow cooker. We were able to get rid of our large pots and pans, except for a few, just because it's so versatile. So it is if you're a minimalist, that is a great tool to have in the kitchen. The next thing I use is my blender and food processor. Now, I don't care what food processor or blender you get, Vitamix, Ninja, Oster blend, it doesn't matter. KitchenAid, it does not matter what brand you have, as long as it's a pretty high power blender, it's going to do the job. And I find that most food processors on the market today do just a fine job, and you really can't go wrong. Now we use the food processor for a lot of things like our bean balls and nice creams. I make nice creams every day with it. Sometimes I'll make thicker smoothies with it. And then the blender, we use the blender to make our cashew and walnut milk, which we have quite a bit. I also use it to do things like my pasta sauce and different things like that. And it's just a very versatile thing. Like I said, if I'm going to have something in the kitchen that's going to be over, say, the $100 range, which the Instant Pot is right around $100, sometimes cheaper if you find it on sale. But if you're going to have something like that, I like it to be very versatile. And those two things are extremely multi-use, a ton of purposes that I find in the kitchen that I can do with them. And then we also have the simple items on the list. And that would include right here, we've got my 32-ounce mason jar. Now this is something we use a ton. I'll pull back here. We use it to store our dry goods. And we store a lot of dry goods in these because they're just so nice. They don't take up a ton of space and they keep things nice and fresh. I store coffee grounds in it. I also will store our cashew or walnut milk in the refrigerator, or you can store any nut milk in the refrigerator with it, and it does a great job. And what I like about this and storing nut milks in the fridge is, you're always going to have, unless it's store-bought with stabilizers and a bunch of other ingredients, if you're just making your own nut milk, it's really nice to have a jar like this that you can keep it in and give it a good shake before you use it, just to disperse the solids that might have settled in the bottom of the jar. And then next we do have our Dutch oven, which I get a ton of use out of. This is something that, right, you could have just a large pot in your oven and a bunch of pots and pans, but I find that the Dutch oven is very versatile in that I can put it on the stovetop, I can saute with it, I can boil water with it, I can use it to bake bread in the oven with, we can bake dishes with it. Really very versatile, and this is honestly really our only pot or pan that we have or use, other than one other campfire pan that we take out camping with us. So this is the home run if you're looking for something that's going to be able to do a ton of uses that's not an electric tool. Now also I have some of these smaller items. We have things like the can opener. Make sure you have a good quality can opener. Things like this you don't want to go cheap on because you could go through 10 can openers by the time you might run out of the useful life of a nice can opener. A good set of knives. They don't have to be the highest end. They don't have to be extremely sharp, but good knives are nice, especially if you're gonna be in the kitchen a lot. And then a good cutting board. I have multiple cutting boards, not because I use them for different things, right? We don't use any animal products, so I'm not too worried about salmonella and different things like that. I wash my produce. What I really like is just have a smaller cutting board I can just pull out, rinse off when I'm done, put it back, or a larger cutting board if I'm gonna be doing something like a recipe video or just doing a large meal. We're also gonna, we use, wooden mixing spoons are always nice. And then a good set of measuring devices. Now these are your quarter cup, third cup, half cup, and cup measures. We also have some teaspoon and tablespoon measurements. And then I also like to have these reusable stainless steel spoons, which are really helpful. Not only do we prefer using them, but they're also better for the environment. Really a low waste product. You don't waste anything when you use these spoons, and people like them. We've got like the boba tea spoon or straw that's really thick. We've got one for our big smoothies, one for smaller smoothies. And just with these and everything else, I will put the link to those. So if you're wondering what brand of Ninja blender I use, what Instant Pot I use, where I got my jars, things like that, I will put those in there. But this is really some of the base things that I use in my cooking. Other things might be my fridge, of course, so we do use the fridge and freezer, but also the stove. We use the stove a lot. One thing we don't use, which we're not opposed to using, we just don't use it ourselves, is a microwave. Now we are okay taking a little bit more time using the stove to heat things up, but a microwave is a great tool and it saves a ton of time, so I am not against it. Another thing we don't have, which I know a lot of people do have that they love, are air fryers. There are some great ones out there. We just have not gotten the one that we really found. We've tried a bunch of them and are still waiting on the perfect one, I guess, until we make the purchase. As a minimalist kitchen and as minimalist, we try to make sure we get the right thing because we want to be able to use it for a lot of different applications. I think you saw that in all the rest of the things I talked about. When I get something or when I'm going to buy something for the kitchen, I want to make sure I can use it for at least 5 to 10 different applications. And that is the case if you're definitely looking at these kitchen essentials. Of course, there are more things. You're going to make sure you want pots, or you're going to make sure you want plates and bowls and spoons and forks. But if we're looking at cooking tools, these are what I use on a daily basis. And if I did not buy one more thing, I could go ahead and make 1,000 more cooking recipe videos and feed my family and many others with just these items. And that is my kitchen tools that I find essential in a whole food, plant-based, vegan kitchen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and hit the like or subscribe button. And as always, this video, the blog attached, the links can all be found at my website, plantbasedgabriel.com. I am Plant-Based Gabriel, hoping that I will see you guys very, very soon.